If you've ever dreamt about expanding to a brick and mortar balloon shop, today's episode is for you. My name is Sarah Meyer. I'm the host of the Bright Balloon podcast, and I want to help you make more money and eliminate stress. And today, Heidi from Decor by Heidi is talking about how she went from starting in her parents' home to finally landing in a brick and mortar storefront where she now owns not only a decor business, but a retail establishment. So, this is something I know nothing about. I am home based, but that wasn't an option for her. So if you are hesitant to sign a lease, you're not sure what you should look for in a rental property, or if it's the right decision for you and your business, today's episode will be great for you. Let's jump right in. All right. Welcome, Heidi. I'm so excited to chat today. We are talking about opening a brick and mortar, and you have been in balloons for a while. We're going to talk about how you got here, some of the struggles with getting up and running. But first, let's dive in with an introduction. Tell us a little bit about you and your business and where you're located.
Okay, awesome. Hi, Sarah. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Heidi Hernandez, and I am based in sunny South Florida. I just realized that next year in January, it's going to be 10 years that I've been on this wild ride. So, oh my gosh, it's like, how, it's like before and after COVID, like it still feels like I'm in year 4, but it's
Yeah.
going on year 10. So that's been super exciting. And I am kind of a little bit in everywhere in this industry. I focus on balloons, but I also focus on other types of decor. I'm a graphic designer, so I do lots of like printing, and the way I advertise my service is kind of like mixed media, but a lot of maximalism in my style when it comes to latex and foil and all that fun stuff.
Cool.
Um, we just opened up our brick and mortar. So we do have like a full retail space to bring in the client that just wants to buy like one latex balloon or one helium inflated number. So that's been our adventure this year. And it's been super fun so far. Lots of
Cool.
lessons.
Cool. So let's rewind. 10 years ago, did you start like the rest of us, like out of your basement or your living room? Or what was your kind of entry into balloons?
I did. So I started off in my parents' house in my childhood bedroom. I'm turning 34 this year, so I was 24 way back then. And I actually started in the decor business with the paper flower trend.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember those like paper flowers that are made with cardstock and all that fun stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I took a class. It was so much fun. It got my creative juices flowing. And then the clients themselves naturally were like, oh, well, but could you install them at a birthday party? Like I was selling them individually, just like on Facebook Marketplace, right? And just like $5 a flower, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I was doing at that time. And then as I started like continuing to get to know people and selling more, they were like, oh, well, could you install them in my daughter's nursery? Could you set them up at the baby shower? And then I bought my first like pipe and drape set. And then I bought my first ladder and then the van. And then 10 years later, here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome. So between childhood bedroom and brick and mortar, and it's like you have a storefront. Like, I just want to clarify that for people. You're not like in a warehouse in the back of some business park. You have an actual storefront with like a big old sign that says your name on it. It's really cool. Did you have any other locations in between?
I did. So when I left my parents' bedroom, I actually moved into a self-storage unit. So it didn't have like AC or light or anything like that. And it was like my first step into expanding. But I was so young and so inexperienced in having my own business. I came from corporate America. I was in like dealerships and things like that. So it was very scary.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm not comfortable with signing a lease just yet, but I can commit to a month to month like storage unit. And then within like a year and a half, 18 months, I would say I had 4 storage units with the amount of inventory and everything else. But it wasn't public. I couldn't receive people. And then COVID hit. And so we were just kind of all over the place at that point. It was just me and one other person. And then I finally took that step in 2020 to sign for like a 3,000 square foot warehouse, which had a ton of lessons and ton of learning experiences in it of itself, just because it was not air conditioned, and here in Florida it is hot.
Yeah.
So it had like a small 500 square foot office. And so all of the balloon production was in there. And then outside, it was just like storage and everything else. So it was a big space, but not necessarily what I needed. And then after that, the lease went up in like 2022 and the prices were just skyrocketing. And it also coincided with like that wave of COVID numbers kind of coming down from where it was. Like COVID was insane. 2020 was a crazy year. I had never invoiced so much money in my life on just like balloons and things and getting them delivered to people. Um, without contaminating ourselves and all that crazy
Right, right.
time, right? And so I made the decision to kind of condense my business and my living situation. And I was like, well, there's other people, other professionals who can work from home. And I think I can do that too. And it was just the wrong move. It was the wrong move for so many reasons, especially because here in Miami, they're a little nitpicky with like what you have in your house. And I had 2 cargo vans already at the time, and then parking them outside in like a closed community was just such a headache. We didn't
Yeah.
even last like 6 months. It was so bad. And so during that time was when I discovered your podcast. And one of the ways that I kind of like just broke out of that terrible time, I feel like it was like kind of like a storm in my life at that
Mhm.
moment, combining my house and the business and not being able to get away. And then feeling like the neighbors were like watching everything I did and the balloons coming out of the house. It wasn't the right move for me at all. And so when I discovered your podcast, one of the ways I would like disconnect and kind of get out of the house and the business, which was all combined in one, was taking a walk and listening to the bright balloon and then refocusing and like recentering myself like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this. There's so many other people, in similar struggles. And in every episode, literally every episode, I found a golden egg of information, a little tip, a little something that was just like, oh my gosh, like these are my people.
I
And
love that.
so yeah,
That
that
makes
was
me so happy. I'm so glad it helped you. And I
the
think that's interesting because I I do feel like there is this pressure as a business owner, not even necessarily as balloons, but as someone who's like doing it all to like
Yep.
not make the wrong choice. Like we just moved. Like we moved 3 months ago and I have been filled with not regret, but like everything. We got
Oh my
puppies.
God.
It's okay. Everything like feels like, did I do the right thing or didn't I? Is this space better or isn't it? Is it worth the new mortgage or should I go? And it's almost like I live in this horrible state of like, should I just undo this? And it's like, well, you can't because you bought a house and you live here now. Like it does feel like a lot of pressure not to kind of screw up, but I do think everything is undoable and everything is adaptable. And I think that
Yes.
change is really hard. Like it's almost easier to stay in a bad situation than it is to go through the growing pains to find the better situation sometimes.
Yes. Absolutely.
So how long you said it was 6 months that you were working from home and you hated it and like it wasn't good. Is that what finally pushed you to where you are now?
Yes. So, that one house that we found was actually really far away as well. So it wasn't the right move for many, many, many reasons that I at that time just could not see. But you know how when like your lease is running out and then you also have to turn in your apartment and like the clock is ticking and you just need to make a decision. So it was like, okay, let's just shove everything into this huge 6 bedroom house and we'll figure it out. And clearly it was the wrong move. So
Mm.
after that, and lots of reflection and prayer and just going into like, okay, where do I want to go from here? And then also like, okay, I'm also stuck in this 1 year lease. What do I do with it? The landlord eventually just said like, listen, you know what? You can get out of your lease and no harm done. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is unheard of. Like no one ever, you know, like just lets you out of a lease. It was a miracle at that time. And that's when we finally found our location where we are right now. That was 3 years ago. And I just renewed my lease there and also acquired the space next door. So,
Okay.
and it was just incredible the way that we were driving by and we saw the sign and we had actually just come from touring other places. And at that time, like corporate locations and just commercial spaces were so hard to come by, especially with what we need for balloons, right? Like a fully air conditioned space. That is not the norm here in South Florida. Like everything is just a hot warehouse for like shipping and logistics and stuff like that. If you want to put your AC in it, it's gonna cost you like $20,000, 30,000.
See, that's
And
crazy to me. I would think with how hot it is there, it's just standard.
yeah, insane, insane. And so, it's a requirement by the state for you to have AC in a home. You can't have a home that's hot, but for businesses, it's completely different.
Hmm.
And so, as like a business owner, and I was just turning 30 years old, I was like, where the heck am I going to get $30,000 to install like a commercial AC in a warehouse unit? And then I can't keep it because I'm leased. I'm not purchasing. It was just such a muddled time, and it
Yeah.
was a difficult, process for us until we found this location. And it was, oh my gosh, the most miraculous. Just the sign popped out of nowhere. We called and he's like, yeah, hold on, are you there right now? I'll go meet you there. And we were like, what? Okay. And we pulled over and the lease was signed in like a month or less, and I moved out and got my own apartment in a month or less. And it was just, oh my gosh, it felt like the end of a hurricane in my life.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you found it. And I'd like to kind of talk about what that looks like from the time you found it to the time you signed the lease, because I've never rented. I don't have a storefront. And I think that there's a lot of people who are like, well, home based isn't an option for me. Like, I live in an apartment, or like, I live in an expensive area. I can't just like find a house that has enough room for balloons. So I have all the questions because I have none of the answers. But what does that even look like? I mean, you said you call, right? Like, you call. Do they ask for a deposit? Do they ask for like a couple months? Do you have to put a secure, like what goes into actually securing the space besides signing the lease? Quick pause, because if you're running a small business and you feel like your brain is holding open 1,000 tiny tabs, this is for you. One of the biggest shifts that I've made in my business, and that I've seen successful decorators make over and over, is moving from doing everything manually to having a real system behind the scenes. That's why 17 Hats is our exclusive YouTube sponsor for 2026. 17 Hats puts your inquiries, contracts, invoices, questionnaires, emails, and workflows all in one place, so you're not chasing clients, forgetting follow ups, or reinventing the wheel every single time someone books. Instead of asking, did I send that and what comes next? Your business just works. The best part, it doesn't make your business feel more robotic. It actually frees you up to do things that you are meant to do, like be creative, work with clients, spend time with your family, and all with less stress. If you're ready to stop duct taping systems together and start operating like a real business, head to 17hats.com to check it out. Once you have a system, everything else gets easier. All right, let's jump back in.
Sure. So a lot of it also has to do, well, when we called, he did let us know that he had a certain commitment minimum. So you could either sign for either 3 years or 5 years. And that's usually the norm. In my previous location, I had also been there 3 years. So I was used to that. I wasn't uncomfortable with the idea of such a long-term commitment. And then the deposit is usually like first month, last month, and then one security deposit or 1 month. So you do have to come up with 3 months rent aside from all of the expenses of moving and getting signage and all that fun stuff. So number wise, it's not too bad. I mean, it's very comparable to also leasing an apartment or a space like that. They do handle it like very traditionally down here in South Florida. So that wasn't too traumatic for us.
Okay.
Um, and then the contract stipulations are very standard as well. We've been very lucky in the last 4 years that like commercial sales tax on leasing has gone down and is now virtually non-existent. So instead of my lease, like my rent going up every year, it's been going down. It's been trending down. So
Oh,
that's been,
wow.
hmm
That's
yeah.
awesome. So then what are you responsible for in terms of like utilities? Like, do you pay gas and electric and air conditioning and garbage and snow removal? Like what are you on the hook for, and what is built into your lease? Or is that contract to contract? Is that different depending on where you are?
In my experience so far, the three leases that I've had, they've been pretty standard. Landlord will take care of like trash and removal, all that stuff that's kind of like outside. He's responsible for the building and for the structure itself. What we're responsible for as tenants is, for example, the maintenance of the AC unit. So this space is completely air conditioned, but if it happens to go out or it freezes or like the month to month maintenance, we're responsible for that.
Okay.
And then as far as like traditional utilities, no gas down here, but we do have water, sewer, and light and internet. So
Yeah.
it's not really a lot. It's just like those four main utilities to keep it running day to day.
Okay, cool. And I mean, I'm assuming your rent isn't $500 a month, right? You're in a multi-thousand-dollar a month area. What gave you the confidence to sign that 3-year lease? Like, even I've been in business 10 years and even I'm like, "Oh, but what if I can't pay it?" Or like, what if something changes?" Like, what gave you the confidence to kind of take that leap and that commitment?
Truly, it wasn't like an overnight decision. Like I mentioned, it's been a 10-year process, and in those 10 years, the first 4, I was like in a month to month situation because it takes like that financial security to actually take the leap. And I feel like within those 10 years, it was also very weird with like COVID. 2020 was an amazing year for balloons down here in Miami. It was all the rage, and we were making thousands of dollars a month. And then kind of coming into what our regular is now, that was also surprising where like our peak months are January to June, and then it's a hard stop all the way
Mm,
through almost October. So the summer months are dead for us here because everyone goes on vacation, leaves, and we're kind of like the vacation destination. So we don't get a lot of activity in the summer because the rest of the country is warm and nice and you can also
that's
visit.
funny. That you're completely opposite of me. Like what
Mhm.
like your busy months are my slow months, which makes sense because 'cause I'm in Wisconsin, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so now you have your space.
Yes.
What did you do in terms of preparing it? Because I would assume it was just kind of like an empty shell.
Yeah, it was an empty shell. I did invest in like lots of balloon centered kind of display. So that was one of my biggest expenses as far as like the pallet walls, the slat walls to display the
Okay.
balloons. I knew I wanted like a really cool system to be able to see not only the closed packages but as well as the like the inventory in use. So I came up with a cool system for that, and then we got to display our balloon bags up on the walls on the hooks, and then also sell them if anyone was interested in coming by and purchasing like sealed bags, right? And then we also got like our balloon corral or the net up at the top for the helium balloons, because in previous locations it was like a small normal regular 8-foot ceiling where you can just like grab the balloon, and this one didn't. This one has like a huge 20-foot ceiling, so whatever
Well, that's
goes up.
nice. I'm
Yeah.
jealous of that.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And then we also invested like in the system with click magnets to be able to hang everything up top. So when it gets a little crazy and the balloons are just everywhere, they all go in high float bags and up to the ceiling. So that has been amazing. Like best system ever. I truly love my space for that.
Yeah, that, like, doubles your square footage,
Yeah.
honestly, because you get everything up off the floor. I'm so jealous of that.
Yeah.
Did you have to get, like, a cash register and, like, a point of sale system and all of that, or are you still just doing, like, online invoicing?
Yeah, I'm still doing online invoicing. I did work with Square at the beginning, so I kind of recuperated that and purchased like their just little what's it called? Like a point of sale
Like, the
or
little
the little
calculator
machine.
thing? Yeah.
Yeah. And so if someone came in and wanted to pay with a credit card, but honestly, in like technology has advanced so much that I can literally take credit card payments on my cell phone. Like when you tap to pay on a portal service, now it's the opposite as well. Like people can just tap their card on your phone and take the payment. So virtually you really just don't need anything to run a store at this point. Just a free
Yeah,
Square account, upload your inventory and have people pay on your cell phones.
that's
Quick
awesome.
login.
Do you
Mhm.
take cash or no?
I did, and now I no longer do, especially because of the change in like the whole penny system that it's no longer there. And then also with employees, it wasn't a way to like control them or create distrust or anything. It's just avoiding temptation is what I call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no cash, no problems, and everything's electronic. Everything goes through electronic payment systems. It's either in Square or it's in QuickBooks, and we call it a day.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I remember the first coffee shop I went into and they were like, "We don't take cash." And I never carry cash, so I didn't care. But it was like the first time I had heard that, and now I think that makes sense. Like, no one's gonna rob you, your employees aren't gonna steal, or even if they didn't steal, like, just human error, you know? Like, I used to work at Party City, honestly, and I was a huge dummy, and, like, making change was, like, the hardest thing. I'd, like, get nervous, and I'd, like, forget how to count. I was like, "Oh my
100%.
god." Like,
Yeah.
I just would think that, like, the math wouldn't add up, you know, and then you're trying to, like, reconcile the cash, so I think that's nice. That's how you said, like, you basically already have everything you need to
Yeah.
open a store.
Yeah.
That's really cool, and then let's talk about what you sell, because we chatted about this a little bit before we started recording. So, this is functioning as your studio and your pickup site, but you're also, like, you take walk-in traffic and you're selling to balloon decorator. So how did you land on, all of those areas?
Correct. So one of the things that led me to opening this space was actually the closing down of Party City.
Mhm.
And there was a very large amount of Party Cities in my area. I think we had like three in our immediate, maybe 20-mile radius. And
Okay.
so the demand for people just walking into the store and like into the studio was insane after their closing. Like we had people walking in all the time. Can I have, 10 helium balloons, et cetera, et cetera. So we definitely saw the need in our community, not only just because we knew that Party City wasn't there, but also because we had a lot of walk-ins. So that's a large part of our decision. But then I also decided that kind of my mantra for the store was going to be, I'm not going to sell anything that I wouldn't use personally.
Okay.
So I do sell like Sempertex balloons, I sell high float products, et cetera, because I do want it to have like that luxury feel when either regular clients come in or when decorators come in, that they can source professional products at my store and that they can also leave with a product that's not going to deflate, that's actually verified with where like their powders and all their materials come from, and all of these important conversations that we're having lately. So that was sort of like my kind of ground or starting point for how I decided what I was going to sell in store.
Yeah.
Um, Price points have been a little bit difficult to figure out just because as a balloon artist, I'm used to a $5, $6 number, and then reselling that in helium, it's kind of hard for like your traditional client. But most decorators are used to those numbers as well. And then just getting my hands on product and stuff like that, well, it I already had it from my relationships with other vendors and distributors, so that was also simple, like easy to
So are
stock up.
you okay, two questions about the inventory. Uh,
Yes.
Are you just like using the balloons off your own shelves to do your jobs? So or do you have like a different inventory in back that you use and then an inventory in front for resale?
Yes, so I am my best client.
Yeah.
I'm usually the one coming into the store, or like my girls when they're setting up or pulling product. And if we don't have any, we can just go shopping right next door at our own very beautiful store. So, in that sense, I do have a separate inventory for what we use to make our products and like our projects and events and things like that. And then we kind of have rules like first in, first out. We don't open bags without going through what we already have open, etc.,
Gotcha.
to keep the product fresh and everything else. So that we already had into play within the store and within like our event production. And then now it's just an extension of, okay, we don't affect the inventory in the store unless we absolutely need to, and then go in and grab something and discount it from the inventory. So it's an
Okay.
additional step, but it's nice to just have it next door and not have to order out or go shopping for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then my other question, which I had a similar conversation, like Jam in New York, he's doing something similar. He has a retail store now, and he's
Yes.
selling to decorators. Do you still buy from like a distributor? Like, are you still buying from the people you used to buy from, or do you like? I've never understood like wholesale versus retail. Like, I don't know if that's like standard pricing. Like, how did you figure all of that out?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I do have really great relationships with different distributors, especially Toy Worlds, who's really close to me here in Miami. And then having a party, Joe, he's great and helped me a lot with setting up the store and all of that fun stuff. Like they were great with answering questions and everything. So getting the materials from them was really almost natural. And then with distributors, it's already so difficult to sign up with them as far as like the minimums they require and the type of business they expect you to have, and then the space as well for you to house their whole line. So it was a little bit easier for me to kind of stay within the decorator account relationship
Okay.
with my distributors and be able to grab that product from them without having to commit to like a 1 million purchase a year because we're not
Okay,
there.
so you're not getting, like, rock bottom prices, but you're also not having to literally buy, like, every balloon in every color in every size and commit
Exactly.
to $1 billion. Okay, got
Yeah.
it, got it. Because they
Exactly.
like having a party, they're filling warehouses, and you're not that.
Yeah. No, no.
Okay, cool, interesting. Alright, well, what has been the hardest part and the best part about shifting your model into this new space?
So the hardest part has definitely been the selection of products because there are so many amazing brands, but just physically with the space that I have, as well as the capacity for like inventory and purchasing and everything else, like I see all of these amazing distributors that have so many people just in like their purchasing and all that stuff. Like clearly I'm not there yet.
Yeah,
We are headed in that direction. So that's been the hardest part, like deciding what to buy, what to offer, and then committing to it because I don't want to like bring in these fabulous balloons that were difficult to source and then I can't replenish them. And it kind of creates that distrust with the local community or with the local decorators who come in. So I have taken that to heart, like very personally, to be able to not only obtain products that I can restock. So that's been important. Also like just inventory that has been having issues in
mm,
the industry that we know of, like just different brands or different colors, etc. That's also been difficult to like have people ask for it and not offer it because I know that it has a high failure rate.
yeah.
So I'm
No, that's
also
smart.
trying.
That's a good
Mhm.
idea, like, I wouldn't have even thought of that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's been hard because they're like popular products or recognized brands and everything, but I'm just like, I'm not gonna sell it if it's going to create like another headache for me or having people come in and, complain about this product. I'm just, I'll
Yeah.
find an alternative or offer you something better or similar.
Yeah, yeah, interesting, and then what about the best part? How has it changed for the better?
Oh my gosh, the best part has been just seeing the way that the community received us, like the way that moms and heads of families and like principals of schools rush in and like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. We haven't been able to get this and that." Like I see the purpose being fulfilled every day of what we decided to start. And I also love that it's a beautiful space. Like sometimes, the warehouse gets messy and all that stuff, and it's not like your favorite spot to take a video or take a
Yeah.
picture. And this has also given us that opportunity to have like this beautiful window to have like just people come in and see where we can also grow as a balloon professional. That was really beautiful as well with my local like friends, and I have a very close knit group of balloon decorators here that we all support each other. I'm a very big advocate for community over competition, and they were all present at the grand opening. They
That's
all took
awesome.
pictures, yeah. And so just that feedback from the community and from my like friends and my balloon besties is what we call each other,
Mhm.
uh, has been wonderful. Has
That's
been
awesome.
absolutely the best part. Yes.
Really cool. Alright, last question, and it's kind of a big one. Um, how are you staffing this place? Are you there just, like, 24 hours a day? Do you have a team? And then you have to go out and do installs? That's always my question with retail. It's like, you kind of have to be in 2 places at once. So what is your strategy for tackling that?
Yeah, so that one was a little difficult and it still is kind of like not a pressure point for us because we do have regular business hours. I did make it a point about a year and a half ago before we even had the location to have someone fully there Monday through Friday, regular business hours, etc. because we were receiving packages, doing returns. And then we also signed up with DoorDash and Grubhub for our balloon deliveries. So we needed
Interesting.
someone there all the time. Yeah, that's been really cool. I actually teach a class on how to sign up and get started with DoorDash and Grubhub delivery apps on the Batalic Balloon Club. And so that's been really cool to kind of expand ourselves in a way that we can sell smaller products, easy to fit in like a tiny cart, get it out of the way, and then I never have to leave the office. I love it,
That's
Sarah.
amazing. That's a really, really good tip. And how, have you had any issues with that? Like any popping or any random people, I don't know, screwing up the bouquets?
No, not at all. I mean, DoorDash is a very good, it's been the best platform so far, and they've been
Okay.
very good at kind of like mediating. So if the driver has an issue or anything like that, we're obviously like, hey, come on back. And then their radius is also very limited. So it's not like they're driving an hour and a half to deliver
Right.
something. Coming back is fairly easy. So I haven't had it happen so far. We haven't had anyone return to get anything fixed or anything like that. I have had some issues where a bouquet or like a stack won't fit in the type of vehicle that's
Oh,
being.
sure.
Mhm. Or like they'll send someone on a motorcycle. Yeah, no, we
Oh
can't do
my
that.
gosh.
So, DoorDash kind of has us limited to like the largest vehicles, etc. And so it's been a working relationship. We're on like year 3 with them so far.
That's really
And
cool.
yeah, it's been awesome. For Valentine's Day, it was insane. Last year and this year, I didn't even have to leave the office. The bulk of my orders were picked up from Door Dashers and delivery drivers. And then they're also a great source for you to like, kind of scope out like, hey, this gentleman, they're usually older men, which is
Okay.
great. Like they're, retired, things like that. You make those friendships and then like, hey, you have a minivan. Would you like to do some other deliveries for me?
Oh,
And it's just
interesting.
yeah, it's created this network of delivery drivers that I absolutely love. We have a huge group chat, and I'm like, "Hey, who wants to come work today? I have a delivery, 7 p.m., 8 p.m." And there's always someone available. So, great,
That's
great
amazing.
network.
That's
Yes.
really, really cool. That I mean, I we don't have that here. I live in a tiny little town, but I think anyone in a
Oh.
city, that's a really, really good tip. And where can people hear that class? You said it's on the Batalic Balloon Club?
Yes, in the app, and then they also have the website. So it's one of the first classes that were posted. And if you scroll all the way down, you'll see my success with delivery apps class
That's
there.
amazing. That's
Hmm.
amazing. Well, let's wrap up. I don't think you've actually said the name of your store, and let's promote it to decorators who might be listening who need a local place to shop. Where can we find you?
Oh, absolutely. So we did kind of play off of the Decor by Heidi name and opened up the Balloon Boutique by Heidi. And we do offer a full line of foil and latex products, as well as materials and supplies like inflators and balloon bags, transport bags, high shine, all that fun stuff. And so we really do want to be kind of like your safe space if you need something 911 here, an emergency at any time. You can just shoot us a text message and we'll get it to you as quickly as possible. And then I am also like a little bit of a curator of like rarities and cool balloons and things like that. So if there's like something out there that's popular or trending and not everyone has it, I'll try and have it in stock so you can always find it here.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations. I saw your grand opening online. It looked fabulous.
Thank
And
you so
I'm just
much.
so excited for all your success. Thanks for sharing.
Of course. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for having me here. It's been, oh my gosh, a dream come true. I always dreamed of being on the Bright Balloon podcast.
Oh, I'm so glad you were and that you shared. Thank you so much.